While entire cities are holding their breath, screaming at screens, and letting a single goal decide their mood for the week, there's a quiet group of people sitting there completely unaffected. No adrenaline, no heartbreak, no celebration, just indifference. And if that's you, you've probably been told something like, "You just don't get it," or worse, "You must be boring." But psychology tells a very different story. Because not caring about sports isn't a lack of passion, it's a difference in how your brain assigns meaning, reward, and emotional investment. And once you understand what's happening underneath the surface, the divide between sports-obsessed people and everyone else suddenly makes sense. Let's start with something uncomfortable but important. Humans are wired for belonging. For most of history, survival depended on being part of a group. If you didn't belong, you didn't last. And even though we don't hunt mammoths anymore, the brain still carries that ancient software. Sports tap directly into it. When someone watches their team, the brain releases bonding chemicals, the same ones involved in family connection and trust. Their nervous system doesn't see a game, it sees us versus them, identity, loyalty, shared fate. That's why fans say "we won" when their team wins and feel personally wounded when they lose. But here's the part most people miss. Not everyone's brain prioritizes tribal belonging the same way. People who don't care about sports tend to have a weaker pull toward group identity. Their sense of self doesn't come from wearing the same colors or backing the same side. It comes from something internal. Psychologists describe this as lower tribal identification and higher individual orientation. In simple terms, you don't need to belong to something massive to feel whole. And research backs this up. People with low interest in spectator sports show less us versus them thinking overall. They don't automatically turn rivalry into emotional conflict. Their brain doesn't light up for symbolic competition. But the differences go even deeper. Sports fandom is fueled by anticipation. Every play, every moment, every near miss, the brain keeps asking, what happens next? That uncertainty releases dopamine, the same chemical involved in motivation and reward. And because the outcome is unpredictable, the dopamine keeps flowing again and again. That's what makes it so gripping. In brain scans, watching sports activates reward systems similar to gambling. The thrill isn't just the win, it's the waiting. People who don't care about sports don't get that same dopamine response from watching others compete. Their reward system isn't triggered by indirect outcomes. And in some cases, that difference is genetic. Studies suggest that variations in dopamine receptors influence how strongly someone responds to competitive, high-arousal activities. So your total indifference to who wins the championship might not be a personality flaw. It might be biology. Then there's self-worth. Sports fans often experience something psychologists call reflected success. When the team wins, they feel elevated. When it loses, something inside them drops. People who aren't invested in sports tend to have a more stable sense of self. Their confidence isn't tied to outcomes they can't influence. Their identity doesn't rise and fall with a scoreboard. They don't borrow meaning from victories that aren't theirs. Which leads to a misconception. People assume non-sports fans lack emotion or empathy. In reality, they often just allocate it differently. Everyone has a limited emotional budget. Some people spend it on teams and seasons. Others invest it in relationships, ideas, creativity, causes, or personal growth. Research consistently shows that people with low interest in sports often score higher in openness, curiosity, imagination, appreciation for art, nature, and abstract thought. They're still chasing meaning. They're just finding it somewhere quieter. Of course, there's another layer we can't ignore. For some people, disinterest in sports has a history. Maybe they felt excluded growing up. Maybe competitiveness felt aggressive or humiliating. Maybe sports culture never made space for them. Or maybe they just genuinely never saw the appeal. Not every explanation has to be dramatic. Sometimes the answer really is, it just doesn't move me. And that's allowed. The deeper divide between sports lovers and non-lovers isn't intelligence or emotion. It's how they experience meaning. Sports fans are drawn to unfolding narratives, comebacks, underdogs, rivalries, the idea that anything could happen. It feels like life distilled into a few hours. Non-sports people often see that randomness and think, why invest emotionally in something I can't affect? They prefer meaning where their presence matters, where effort leads to outcome, where emotion is reciprocal. Psychologists describe this difference as parasocial investment versus direct engagement. One group builds emotional ties to distant figures. The other prefers connection where their involvement changes the result. Neither approach is better. They're just different strategies for being human. And interestingly, people who don't obsess over sports often report feeling more present in their own lives. They're not spending hours emotionally riding someone else's struggle. They're focused on their own. There's something quietly powerful about that. So if you've ever been asked, did you watch the game, and felt absolutely nothing about missing it, you're not broken, you're not dull, you're not missing some essential human experience. Your brain just plays a different game, one where meaning comes from participation, not spectatorship, from depth, not noise, from your own life, not someone else's scoreboard. And if this felt uncomfortably accurate, the next video goes even deeper into how quiet minds process the world differently, and why that difference might be your greatest advantage. You might want to watch that next.